A very good morning to you, my dear brothers and sisters. What a great joy to greet you on this beautiful Sunday, June 28th. And today with a special joy, because Sunday is the Lord's Day, the day of the resurrection, the most important day of the week for us Christians. Welcome, as every morning, to this little corner of faith. Get comfortable, take a deep breath, set the rush aside. Because today is Sunday, the day to rest in God, to be with family, to fill the soul. And Jesus is going to give us today a beautiful sentence, one of those that give hope, that not even a cup of water we give out of love is lost before God. Today we are going to discover the immense value of small acts of goodness. And before we begin, my friends, a quick but very important thing. If this Mass does you good, if these reflections feed your soul each morning, please do me a big favor. Subscribe to the channel, give the video a like, turn on the notification bell so you get the alert every day, and tell me in the comments, where are you watching the Mass from today? Put your city, your state, your country. It fills my heart to read you each morning and to know that we are one big prayer family spread across the whole world. And share this video with someone who needs to feel today that God values all the good they do, even if it is small. Thank you so much from the bottom of my heart. My friends, since today is Sunday, let me remind you of something important. The Sunday Mass is the heart of our week. It is not a burden. It is not a heavy obligation. It is a gift. It is the day we sit at the table of the Lord as a family to receive strength for the whole week. So, if you can, today go to Mass at your parish. Bring your children, your grandchildren, and those who, because of illness or age, cannot leave home, join in from there with your heart, because your Mass too counts, and greatly, before God. And let me tell you something about Sunday, my friends, that we sometimes forget. Sunday is the day of the resurrection. Every Sunday is a little Easter, a little feast of the fact that Christ conquered death and opened for us the gates of heaven. That is why Sunday is not to be lived rushing, stressed, full of things to do. It is to rest in God, to be with those we love, to fill the soul with what truly matters. In a world that never stops, that always wants us working, always buying, always running, Sunday is that gift of God to stop and remember what we live for. Let us not let Sunday be stolen from us, my friends. Let us give to God, to family, to the soul, the time they deserve. Let me send out a few greetings before we begin. A big hug to the Murphy family in New York, to Mrs. Mary in Chicago, to Mr. James in Houston. And a special greeting to our brothers and sisters around the world who pray with us every morning, in Manila, in Lagos, in London, in Dublin, in Sydney. And we continue to pray for our sick, Mrs. Catherine, Mrs. Teresa, Mrs. Helen, Mrs. Anne. And for each one of you who writes asking for prayer, we carry you all in our hearts and to the altar. Well then, my friends, let us go to this Sunday's Gospel. Jesus is going to speak to us clearly about what it means to follow him, but he ends with a beautiful promise. Listen with your heart. Jesus said to his apostles, "Whoever loves father or mother more than me is not worthy of me, and whoever loves son or daughter more than me is not worthy of me. And whoever does not take up his cross and follow after me is not worthy of me. Whoever finds his life will lose it, and whoever loses his life for my sake will find it. Whoever receives you receives me, and whoever receives me receives the one who sent me. Whoever receives a prophet because he is a prophet will receive a prophet's reward, and whoever receives a righteous man because he is righteous will receive a righteous man's reward. And whoever gives only a cup of cold water to one of these little ones to drink because he is a disciple, amen, I say to you, he will surely not lose his reward. The Gospel of the Lord. Praise to you, Lord Jesus Christ. My friends, this gospel has two parts, and at the beginning it can sound a bit strong, can't it? Jesus says, "Whoever loves father or mother more than me is not worthy of me." And one wonders, "But how, Lord? Did you not command us to honor our father and mother? Is it not good to love our family?" Of course it is, my friends. Let us understand well what Jesus means, because it is not what it seems at first sight. Jesus is not asking us to love our family less, never that. What he is asking is that we put God in the first place of our life, above everything, even above the greatest and most legitimate loves. And do you know why, my friends? Because when we put God in the first place, all the other loves are set in order, are purified, become healthier. The one who loves God above all things loves his parents better, loves his children better, loves his husband or wife better, because he learns to love as God loves, without selfishness, without possessiveness, with generosity. Putting God first takes nothing away from family love. On the contrary, it makes it greater and truer. And let me explain that very strong word, my friends, because in the Gospel, Jesus sometimes speaks with very contrasting expressions, very much of his land. When he says, "Whoever loves his father more than me is not worthy of me," he is not asking us to despise anyone. What he is teaching is a matter of priority, of order in the heart. It is like when a father says to his son, "First the duty, then the play." It is not that play is bad, it is that there is an order. Well, so it is, my friends. God first, and then, in God and for God, all the other loves. When that order is well set, everything in life works. When it gets out of order, when we put any other thing above God, that is where the problems begin. Let us take an example, my friends. Imagine a family where God is at the center, where they pray together, where they forgive, where they live with honesty, where the values of the gospel rule. Isn't it true that such a family loves each other better, is more united, happier? And the other way around, when a family puts other things at the center, money, what people will say, whims, selfishness, that is where the quarrels, the divisions, the resentments begin. That is why, my friends, the greatest gift we can give our family is to put God in the first place. Because then God himself becomes the foundation, the glue, the strength of that family. How many homes I have seen, my friends, in my years as a priest, come through the hardest trials because they had God at the center. And how many others, with all the money in the world, fall apart inside because they had left God out. And then comes that other sentence. "Whoever does not take up his cross and follow after me is not worthy of me." My friends, what is it to take up the cross? It is not to go looking for sufferings, mind you. To take up the cross is to accept with love and with faith the difficulties that life brings us in following Jesus, in doing good, in living with honesty. It is the tiredness of a mother who stays up for her children. It is the patience of the one who cares for a sick person. It is the endurance of the one who works honestly even when it is hard. It is to forgive when it costs, to tell the truth when it is uncomfortable. Those are the crosses of every day, my friends. And Jesus says to us, do not flee from them. Embrace them with love, because through there passes the path of true life. Whoever loses his life for my sake will find it. What a profound sentence. The one who gives himself, the one who spends himself out of love, that is the one who truly finds life, joy, meaning. The selfish person who lives only for himself, that one stays empty. And notice what a great truth this contains, my friends. A truth that goes against all the logic of the world. The world tells us, live for yourself, enjoy, accumulate, take care only of yourself, don't trouble yourself for others. And Jesus tells us the opposite. Whoever lives only for himself loses himself. Whoever gives himself out of love, that one finds himself. And do you know what, my friends? Jesus is right. Look around you. The most bitter, the most empty, the saddest people are usually the most selfish, the ones who think only of themselves. And the happiest, the most fulfilled, the most at peace people are usually the most generous, the ones who live giving themselves to others. A mother who gives herself for her children, a volunteer who helps the poor, someone who cares with love for a sick person. Those people, even though they get tired, have a deep joy that the selfish person will never know. Because to give your life out of love does not impoverish us, it fills us. That is the great reversal of the gospel. But now, my friends, comes the second part of the gospel. And here is the jewel, the sentence I want you to take home today engraved on your heart. After speaking of such great things, the cross, giving your life, Jesus comes down to the smallest, the most everyday, and says a beautiful thing. Whoever gives only a cup of cold water to one of these little ones will surely not lose his reward. A cup of water, my friends. Notice what a small thing, so simple, so within everyone's reach. Jesus is telling us that even the smallest gesture of kindness, the most insignificant in the eyes of the world, has an immense value in the eyes of God. How consoling this is, my friends. Because maybe one of you thinks, I cannot do great things for God. I am not a great saint. I am not a missionary. I have no money to give great alms. I cannot change the world. It does not matter, my brother. Jesus does not ask you for great feats. He asks you for a cup of water. He asks you for the small gestures of every day, a smile to the one who is sad, a word of encouragement, helping your neighbor, listening to the one who is alone, having patience with your family, giving food to the one who is hungry. Those small gestures, done with love, are worth ever so much before God. Not one is lost. God sees them all, keeps them all, and will reward them all. And let me tell you something that seems beautiful to me, my friends. God does not measure as the world measures. The world measures by size, by quantity, by what is seen. but God measures by the love we put in. A cup of water given with great love is worth more, before God, than a great alms given to show off or without affection. Remember that poor widow of the gospel who put into the temple 2 small coins, the smallest thing there was. And Jesus said she had given more than all the rich, because they gave from their surplus, but she gave all she had with love. That is what God is like, my friends. What matters to Him is not the size of the gift, but the size of the love. That is why even the poorest, even the simplest, even the most ill person who can only offer a prayer from his bed can do very great things before God, if he does them with love. And notice how beautiful, my friends. Jesus says that not even a cup of water is lost. That is, nothing good that we do is lost. Sometimes we do good and no one notices. No one thanks us. They even repay us badly. And we think, what for if no one values it? My friends, God values it. God sees everything. That good you did in silence, that help you gave without anyone knowing, that patience you had without anyone acknowledging it, all of that is kept in the heart of God, and He will reward you for it. Do not grow weary of doing good, even if it seems that no one notices. God never forgets a single gesture of love. And notice a detail, my friends. Jesus speaks of giving the cup of water to one of these little ones. The little ones in the gospel are the most humble, the most in need, the ones the world does not take into account. Jesus tells us that when we help one of these little ones, we are really helping Him Himself. Whoever receives you receives me. What a great thing, my friends. Every time we help someone in need, it is Jesus we help. Every time we give a cup of water to a little one, it is to Jesus we give it. That is why let us open our eyes to see Jesus in those around us, above all in the poorest, the loneliest, the most forgotten. Remember what Jesus will say on the day of judgment, my friends. That so striking scene of the gospel. He will say to those who are saved, I was hungry, and you gave me to eat. I was thirsty, and you gave me to drink. And they, surprised, will ask, Lord, when did we see you hungry, thirsty? And Jesus will answer, whatever you did to one of these little ones, you did to me. My friends, there is the key of the Christian life. To see Jesus in every person, above all in the one who suffers, and to serve Him by serving them. The cup of water you give to the poor, it is to Jesus you give it. The patience you have with the sick, it is with Jesus you have it. The affection you give to the one who is alone, it is to Jesus you give it. How great this is, my friends! We have Jesus within reach every day in those around us, waiting for us to love Him in them. So, my friends, what do we take home today from this Sunday Gospel? 3 little things for the heart. First, put God in the first place of your life. Not to love your family less, but to love them better. When God is the center, all the other loves become healthier, truer, happier. Today, which is Sunday, is a good day to begin. Put God at the center of your home. Second, embrace your cross of every day with love. Do not flee from the sacrifices that come from doing good, from fulfilling your duty, from loving your own. Whoever loses his life for my sake will find it. By giving yourself, you will find true joy. And third, the most beautiful. Do not despise the small gestures of good. A cup of water, a smile, a help, a kind word. Not one is lost before God. Do the good you can, where you can, to whom you can, and let God do the rest. Let us ask for all this with all our heart in this Sunday Holy Mass. Well then, my friends, stay with us for the Holy Mass of this Sunday, June 28th. We offer it for all of you and your families, for the Murphy family in New York, for Mrs. Mary in Chicago, for Mr. James in Houston, for all our sick, and in a very special way today for all families, that they may put God at the center of their home, and so love one another more and better. We offer it, too, for all who do good in silence, without anyone seeing them, that they may know that God sees them and never forgets a single gesture of love. And we offer it for all who feel small, without strength to do great things, that they may discover that with a simple cup of water given with love, they are already doing something very great in the eyes of God. And today's task, my friends, is beautiful and very simple, like the gospel. Today you will give a cup of water. What does that mean? That today you will do, on purpose, a small gesture of kindness for someone, above all for someone small, humble, in need, forgotten. It can be a call to someone who is alone, a help to a neighbor, a word of encouragement, giving food to someone in need, a visit to a sick person. Something small, simple, within reach of your hand. And do it with love, thinking that it is to Jesus you give it. You will see what great joy fills the heart when we give that cup of water. And since today is Sunday, my friends, a Sunday with family, I leave you a second beautiful task. Do something good today as a family. Pray together, even just a little. Eat together without the screens. Talk. Forgive one another if there is something pending. Call one another among those who are far away. Put God today at the center of your home, even one Sunday at a time. So, little by little, your family will be built on the firm rock that is God. And the usual reminder, my friends, many fake pages have appeared using my face and my name to deceive people, asking for money, promising so-called miracles in exchange for money. It is all false. We never ask you for money for a prayer. The official channel is Light of Faith with Father David. You can watch us on YouTube and on Facebook every morning. Please make sure it is the real one. I thank you from the bottom of my heart for being with me each morning, and in a special way this Sunday. Knowing that so many families begin the Lord's Day with this Mass gives me strength to continue this humble apostolate. Don't forget, subscribe, give a like, turn on the bell, comment where you are watching from, and share the video with someone who needs to know today that not even a gesture of good is lost before God. May the Sacred Heart of Jesus bless you abundantly. Let us stay together for the Holy Mass. Have a wonderful and happy Sunday, June 28th, with family and in peace. Don't forget today's line, not even a cup of water you give out of love is lost before God. Do today the good you can, however small, for God sees everything and forgets nothing. May God bless you all abundantly, today and always.